Let's do this.
Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go?
This is Barrett Freeman with the PropertyTales podcast. I think I should say something like Freeman Brothers Realty.
It's gonna fall.
No, I hope it doesn't. It seems like it's in good shape.
Wait.
You're just making on-the-fly moves. We had to put this up on the table because nothing will stick to this brick. How long did you spend trying to get stuff to stick to it?
I don't know. It took me forever.
What did you try first?
I don't know what you call it. It's like Gorilla Glue thing.
I can't believe Gorilla Glue didn't work.
Hot glue did, but
Hot
then
glue-
it fell.
So it didn't work.
It stayed up last time.
Will you have time to work with this again and try to get this set up?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you'll have time tomorrow?
Yeah, maybe.
What will you do?
Nothing else will stick but the hot glue.
Well, I don't care if you use something permanent because, it's brick. It's got holes in it already. Is your mind racing on options? Also, we could decorate this thing a little bit better.
Yeah.
What do you think? Someone had the idea of moving into that office in there. We can control the light better because this light's coming.
Oh, okay.
And, right now there's a glare on this, which I wish there wasn't. So we have lights obviously right here, and they do a good job, but it seems like the only time we can film is like 5 o'clock and the sun's just blasting in here.
Yeah.
Yes, people that will be watching this kind of know who you are and what you do because you're all over our social media. But why don't you kind of go over what you do for Freeman Brothers Properties and Freeman Brothers Realty?
I basically just do like the social media things, like videos of apartments, new remodels, and
You do our TikToks, Reels.
yeah.
You're basically the face of our marketing. Have you been recognized yet?
Huh?
Have you been recognized out in public yet, just from
Yes.
social media?
Yes. Yeah, I have.
Oh, really? Is that weird?
Not really.
I think that's cool. I don't know if I get recognized.
You don't?
Not from the general public, obviously, because Blake and I are doing so much business that
Yeah.
I know on Main Street. I know every business owner. I know every business owner. I know every landlord that owns the bit. So obviously, most of the businesses don't own the building they're in; they just pay rent.
Yeah.
So I know the landlord, then I know the business owners. Did you hear about Scully's? Scully's went out of business.
Hey, wait, what?
Scully's went out of business.
Why?
We met the owners, Chuck and Karen.
Yes.
They said they run the Philly cheesesteak connection by the highway. Have you seen that
Yeah.
business? And they said that they're just taking too much time running two businesses.
Hmm.
You see how much Blake and I are killing ourselves, running our several businesses. I couldn't imagine running a restaurant.
Yeah.
You have to, you have to manage your wait staff, which they're historically hard to keep people
Yes.
waiting tables, and then food, and then you've got people that aren't happy, and I just couldn't imagine running a restaurant. So but you, if I remember, you were at a restaurant when you got recognized by somebody.
Yeah.
What was that?
What do you mean?
Where were you recognized?
Oh, Cracker Barrel.
What'd they say?
It was a girl. She just came up to me and she asked, "Are you the girl that does videos for Freeman Brothers?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Oh, I've seen you on the videos."
Hopefully, she was complimenting you.
Yeah, she said she liked my hair.
You do a lot of our walkthrough videos. I think we do them pretty well. We've been doing them for like 7 or 8 months now. We started last October. There's just not you and I, we were trying to see examples of walkthrough videos that other people have done.
Yeah.
And it was hard to find, and the ones we did find were terrible.
Yeah, they're boring.
Boring, or like there wasn't someone. Our philosophy is always people watch because there's a person on camera.
Mm-hmm.
People want to see a walkthrough, they want to see the apartment, but if someone's just scrolling on social media, they're stopping because they're seeing your face.
Yeah.
And then if they happen to get a tour of one of our apartments, that's a win-win. But we always approached it from like an entertainment standpoint. So, like you said, they're boring. Who's going to just watch a walkthrough when they're not in the market?
Mm-hmm.
So we were trying to figure out how do we get people to watch our content that weren't even in the market for a rental or to buy. We wanted it to be interesting and compelling. So, I mean, we spent a lot of time like trying to play with different shots and and like still pictures versus just you walking through.
Yeah.
I think our most successful video we ever did, unfortunately, was you reacting to things. It wasn't you walking through an apartment. It was we found 3 or 4 YouTube videos of people trying to do like walkthroughs, and it would be a guy that you couldn't understand because his microphone was bad, or it was 20 minutes of showing like a small place. They clearly not put any kind of actual thought into making it entertaining. They went strictly for the information. But even if I was in the market, I don't think I would sit there and watch someone walk through an apartment for like 20 minutes. You couldn't understand what they're saying. I think the best one we saw was one in Chicago, but the guy was just carrying his iPhone around, just kind of filming. And
oh yeah, that one was good.
So that was the best one, and even that one, we always think it's better if you're on camera. Even if it's me, I think people find me particularly interesting. But when I'm on camera, we definitely get a lot more response. So, but one of my New Year's resolutions, and I think I told you this, was that I was going to invest more in the social media, the equipment, and really try to raise our production value. Surely you can see a difference from when we first started, when I was just chasing around with my iPhone. We didn't have a good microphone. We didn't have professional lighting. So we're a lot farther along now. So are you enjoying it still after all this time? What's been the best part for you on this journey from starting with us, I guess, a year ago almost?
I think like getting out of my comfort zone.
You've definitely gotten out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So you started with us last July in 2022.
Yes.
You came to me and you're like, you're just off for your summer in high school, and I need a little money, just like every teenager does. And you're like, I'll do anything. I'll clean. I'll do hard labor. And I was like, you're a 5'1" teenage girl. I was like, I think that there's something that you can do for us, but I'm not going to have you digging a ditch. So at first you started out as our property manager's executive assistant, doing running. And then I wanted to really expand our social networking and our social reach. So I started putting you in front of the camera, and it was instant skyrocket of like people liking, sharing, commenting. Our reach went from like 300 people visiting our Facebook a day max to now we're getting, on a slow day, we're getting like 3,000. And we've had days where we've had like 20,000 people come to our Facebook. And you can see almost exactly when you started going on camera on the graph. Like I could do an arrow saying this is when Melissa started being in front of the camera and doing the walkthroughs, because you have to approach it from an entertainment mindset, not information, because people don't want a lecture. Yeah. So you and I started with social media, the videos, TikToks, and then we invested a lot of money in actual like high-end production commercials. And that, so I'm getting ahead of myself, but when we started back in July, we were just taking pictures of you and doing videos of you and walkthroughs, to doing full-blown commercial campaign for television. So what was the hardest part? I guess what was your most out of your comfort zone?
Of the commercials?
Any of it? Because you said that being outside your comfort zone.
The first time, I had no clue what I was going to say and how many people were going to be around. Are
you talking about when we did the commercial up on the Main Street building?
Yes, that was awful.
Did you think that it was just going to be you and I?
Yes. Or? Yes, and then I saw like other people, and I was just so nervous. Yeah. And I just didn't know what to say. Even though like you would tell me what to say, I would forget. And we would have to do one video and then another one.
Well, that's common. I mean, you have to take multiple takes and see what works.
Yeah, but we did a lot. We got better because we didn't have as many videos as we did at the beginning. We had so many retakes.
Yeah, I mean, you've gotten better. I've gotten better. Even just getting this started today, there's just always going to be little problems. For some reason our microphones didn't want to record for the first.
Yes.
So what was the hardest part at the beginning? Like, let's look at that. When you were on that main street doing the commercial, was it just the speaking?
And just like the people being there, just made me more like nervous.
I mean, there weren't that. I mean, what, 3 people, 4 people?
Yeah, but still, because everyone was looking at me.
So from your perspective, you walked into this apartment. We were doing a video of you, and all of a sudden you see the camera crew and director and me.
Yes.
So you didn't know we were doing, like, I thought I told you we were working with company.
Not the first time. The first time it was only with your phone.
I know, but then.
And then it was whenever they brought the camera and everything. The first time it was just your phone and like
we did
some other people.
Yeah, we did. We did a bunch of videos of you walking through, and it got to the point where you and I we found a good rhythm.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to experiment with higher end, so I contacted this production company, and I didn't know what they were going to bring either. I had no idea, and all of a sudden you and I are walking in this apartment, and they've got these big cameras, and they've got a script, and we hadn't talked about any of that.
Yeah.
And then you came dressed really professionally, and like the video came out great.
It was awesome.
Have you looked at that video in a while?
Mm-mm.
I don't know why you would, but
I haven't.
well, so how old were you when we shot that?
It was 18.
You were 18?
18.
Right, thank goodness.
Yes.
Because you started working for us when you were 17, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I was about to turn 17.
You were about.
Oh no. Yeah, 17. I was turning 18.
It's funny. I don't know if I knew how old you were.
Yeah.
Because your mom handles our cleaning for when people move out. She gets the apartments ready to rent.
Yes.
So obviously, I saw you help your mom a few times.
I was 15. Whenever.
You're a hard worker. And what were your first impressions of us?
I thought you were mean.
Why?
I don't know. Your face looked mean. You never smiled. And then whenever I got to talk to you more, I realized you weren't mean.
I am pretty busy. I think I get in the zone.
Yeah, you're just focused.
We just recorded those TikToks, and they came out great. Have you seen them all yet?
No.
You haven't seen the final version yet?
Where did you record?
Where did I record?
Yeah.
You're talking about the ones I did?
Yeah.
Oh, we just did the shopping center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But have you seen the ones you did?
Oh yeah, I've seen.
Yeah. So we also contracted out with the same production company to do like 10 TikToks, professionally done. They even filmed them for the iPhone or for your phone screen, and they came out really great. Because you weren't sure what your summer plans were going to be, so we spent basically the month of May and June just recording a whole lot of content.
Yes. And
so we're slowly getting that out, which I'm really excited about. I've only done one. I only released one of the TikToks. Did you see your 15-second commercial on Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you talk about that experience a little bit? Because talk about getting out of your comfort zone. The production company, they wrote and directed, or they wrote and shot the commercials, but we pretty much had to do everything else. So it's just up to you and I to cast, audition, and then the company took it from there. But why don't you talk about the audition process that we went through? So I sent an email to every theater department in Kentucky and said, we're doing a property commercials. We need 18 to 22-year-old kids for a background, and then we needed a cast a boy to be your boyfriend in the commercials, and we ended up finding Jonah. But we met at Center College, and what was that experience like for you?
It was something new, but I thought it was very cool. And I was really happy with how we ended. And
why don't you tell us how we did the auditions?
We asked them to meet in what was it there?
We're at Center College.
Yeah, but what was the room that we were in?
Oh, it was just like a ballet studio.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah, it had the mirrors, but it had the bar that you could do like
Yes.
ballet on, and they had like a couch.
So we kind of like made a setup of how like the ad was gonna be, and we
Like
used
we
like
had,
that
like,
thing
a-
as the balcony and then the couch.
Yeah, the balcony.
Yes.
So you had to just stand there and just say the lines over and over again with these different guys.
And with the girls also.
That was funny.
Yes.
Because we were coming at that scene like it was a love, like a boyfriend girlfriend, but we needed to audition the girls too, and we weren't set on like the final commercial idea,
Yeah.
so you had to stand up there, and I think one of the actresses approached it like a girlfriend,
Yeah.
and she had put her arm around you.
It was so funny. I thought it was funny.
Well,
It was part of her acting. It was pretty good.
we ended up hiring her.
Yes.
That was Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle was great. And
Yes.
she was so
awesome.
professional.
She was awesome.
You were leaning on her a lot on that. So you're a non-professional actress, and you've never had to memorize lines. You never had to act, like actually act like act in
Yes.
love and hit your marks.
I was so surprised how good she was at it. All of them were good.
Yeah, she made it look effortless, and you made it look hard.
Yes. No, it's hard for me. It's easy for her.
Well, you forget that they're training to do that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't appreciate the difference in a professional actor versus someone who's got a lot of experience in front of the camera, but's not done the acting side.
Yeah.
So you were a lot more comfortable with everything. You seemed to be more comfortable in front of the camera, but when you needed to act, that's where you really needed some like help. And fortunately, the professional actors, of course, they made it so easy. So I think my favorite commercial was probably you and Michelle
The bacon cookies.
baking cookies.
Yeah. I love that one.
Yeah. So basically, we set you and Michelle up in a kitchen that we have an apartment in one of our actual apartment kitchens,
Yes.
and you guys just bake cookies. And how long did that commercial take to shoot? We only got 15 seconds. I mean, how
Like an
long?
hour
You think so?
or more? Over an hour.
It
No,
had
yeah,
to,
over an hour.
After the lighting and costumes, and it was a big production.
I think the other ones were more complicated than that one.
Were you was the actual day of the shooting, was it how you thought it was going to be?
Yes.
Like did it feel bigger or smaller? With all the lighting.
Bigger.
It did feel bigger.
Yes.
See, I was worried that we would look like we weren't like legit.
Yeah. No, we looked like it looked so professional, like an actual commercial.
Well, yeah. They
And
were.
I thought it was not going to be like that.
You thought it was
much.
going to be smaller.
Yes.
Do you think the actors thought it was? Thought it was legit and big enough?
Maybe.
It's
I'm
not
not
like they
sure.
have a lot of experience. The boy that we hired, Jonah, he had by far the most acting experience.
And Michelle probably.
Yeah, I don't know if she had any acting experience other than just like school plays and college plays. Jonah is actually a professional. He's on movie sets. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So there's several movies filming in Kentucky right now, and he just goes and hopes to get on the set. They'll need extras,
Yeah.
and he gets on because he's a good-looking guy, and he's young, so I think he can fit a lot of roles.
Yeah.
He was not my first choice.
He was everyone's first choice
I know.
except you.
I know. So we brought the production team. We brought one of our other realtors who has some acting experience. She's done auditions, and she kind of ran the audition,
Yeah.
Kayla. But I in my head, I pictured tall, athletic guy. The problem is you're tiny.
He was about my height.
Oh, it was perfect. You guys look like a couple.
Yeah.
And that's, obviously that's the goal. But even though I was paying for it, I had to listen to everybody else, but I got vetoed. I guess I don't know what people like. But anyway, it worked out great because Jonah did a really, really good job. And hopefully we'll work with him again on future projects if we have the opportunity. We're going to see how these commercials go because it ended up being, we spent several thousands of dollars.
Are they going on actual TV?
We're going to do that in the fall. So we're going to do right now we're advertising on Facebook. So I'm actually boosting them. Like we're giving Facebook, money so that they increase its spread. So it's going on a lot of, and then we're doing that on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So we talked to Fox 56, and they were, they gave us a quote, and basically for how much we'd have to spend a month, and it was a lot. But we're like, well, it might be worth it if it'll increase our sales. But then we're like, everybody's on social media.
Yeah.
So let's spend half of what we were going to spend on Fox and spend it on just pay social media to spread it. So that's what we're going to do for the next 6 months. And then in September, we have a meeting with Fox 56 again to see if it makes sense for us to do it like, a 9-month contract and use those commercials.
Okay.
We probably will do it though. But your cookies ad that we just released, we boosted it. I mean, it's getting great reach. So it's out there. I mean, you're just not on Facebook much, are you?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I see it. I see it a lot.
Well, your mom does a great job of sharing everything.
Yeah. My brother loved it. I think it was my favorite commercial out of all the.
It was my favorite commercial. I hate, I guess I led with our favorite, but they're all good. But that one was just really fun, and you guys look like you're having fun, and that's something it's hard to fake.
It was just very natural. It
made the most sense too.
Yeah.
Were your least comfortable ones where you were doing the boyfriend girlfriend stuff?
Oh yeah.
Why?
It makes you feel awkward. I don't know.
You guys had to hold hands for like 8 hours.
Yes. And lay on each other. I don't know. It was just or dance.
Did you see all the commercials yet?
Yeah.
I thought the dancing came out.
It was very
great.
good. Yes.
The lighting, it was just a really high quality production. They did a great job.
Yeah. Also the board game with the board games where everyone's there. I like that one too.
Yeah, that'll probably be the next commercial we go with. Yeah. Was it hard trying to pretend to have a boyfriend for 8 hours?
It was kind of hard.
At one point, I think you guys just settled in and because you were having to do so many takes on the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys literally had to hold hands for 45 minutes.
Yes.
At some point, you're just okay, I guess this is what we're doing now for the rest of the day.
I was trying my best to not make it feel weird, but it's still especially when we had to dance and stare at each other, and we had to go around dancing, and the camera was on. It was just so, I don't know, awkward. The camera and then us staring. It was weird.
A guy you'd met for 20 minutes a month before.
Yeah.
I think it came out great though.
Yeah, it was very good.
And the good thing about those commercials is we can also make a bunch of reels off of them, so we'll get a lot of reach out of them.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. So now you have acting experience.
Yes.
Now you have casting experience. Now you have auditioning experience. I think you're better built for just social media, mentally. Did you feel like the star of the production?
Yes.
Did you really?
Kinda.
So this is a story I didn't tell you, but I thought it was really funny. I added you and the actors onto a text group because I wanted everybody to have the plan, and so obviously we had makeup we had to do before, and so I told everybody, okay, makeup starts at 1, and so they didn't know whose number everybody's numbers was. All of a sudden you texted the group, I'm doing my own makeup, and everybody's I'm sure everybody's oh, that's strange or whatever. Yeah. You and I talked about it separately, but you were just making sure that I guess I remembered that you were having your makeup done separately. And but from the group, it looked like the prima donna Melissa was too good to do all the makeup like everybody else. And so I was wondering I'm sure the actor's I guess this is what it's like to be in a production. The star wants to do her own or have her makeup done separately from everybody. And because you did their makeup separately, you showed up an hour and 45 minutes after the actors did. And we were still setting up the commercial, so it wasn't a big deal. It didn't delay anything, but the actors were waiting to warm up for you to get there. And you just you'd done something with your hair, so you're trying to get it to dry.
Yes.
So the combination of that text where you're I'm doing my makeup on my own. That's not the tone you chose, but that's kind of probably how it read. And then you being an hour and 45 minutes late and everybody's waiting on you to warm up. I was just, it was wonderful. I was what set doesn't have some drama? And I was wondering if you were coming across as the star or prima donna like want special treatment, and everybody's waiting on you. And you were the star, and we were waiting on you. But that combination of things I thought was just perfect, and it did set you apart. And I did want you to feel like the star because you're the star of every commercial, and I was hoping it'd help you feel confident. Did you how was your microphone? Probably needs to be closer. Did you feel like a star that day?
Yeah.
How was your confidence that day?
It's good.
Did you settle in? Were you nervous at first?
Kinda.
We didn't plan it this way, but we filmed the group first, so there wasn't as much spotlight on you to act and be entertaining.
Yes.
We did a board game scene where basically you just had to be playing a board game, so that probably helped. Yeah. Do you think it helped you kind of ease in?
Yes.
What was the hardest commercial?
The one, I can't remember if it was the one outside.
When you're walking on the sidewalk?
Yes.
It was.
I hated that one.
Do you remember me with the power washer?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. I hate how we didn't get that on camera. It was so funny.
Will you tell that story?
Yeah, like we were trying to like walk just like slow, and wasn't that supposed to be the rain?
Yeah.
That was supposed to be like rain, and then like we randomly looked to our side, and Barrett was like going hard with the power thing, the
Power
power
washer.
washer. It was so funny.
I was trying to get rain behind you.
Yes, it was so funny.
I was just wrestling with this thing for an hour, and I was literally dressed like this.
Yes.
And this pressure washer had every problem.
But like the way you were doing it, you were just like so aggressive with
Well,
it.
yeah, because it was like I had a gun.
It was so funny. It was so funny. And then you had, what did you have? You had something. Oh, you were on a live, and then you were going behind Jonathan, I think.
Yeah.
And then like you bumped into each other. Oh my god, it was so funny. You were just bumping into things.
Well, I was trying to document because I got a lot of awesome content just filming you guys acting.
Yeah.
And I think, for better or worse, those reels that I did that weren't professionally shot got just as much attention because it was interesting. I mean, how many people are on a commercial set ever? Yeah. And it was a professional commercial set, lighting, directing, camera. So, I mean, I think people liked seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, did you enjoy that process?
Yes.
Was it a longer day than you expected?
Yes, it was very long. We didn't get one of the commercials.
Yeah, we basically had to call it when it got dark. That was a shame. I thought it was aggressive. I was trying to do 4 commercials in one day, but people were driving from all over the state. So, I mean,
I would have liked if we had one like during the night. I thought we were gonna have one during like nighttime.
That was you and I both shared that vision. It just logistically it was so hard because we're filming here in the summer. And it wasn't getting dark till like 8:30 or 9. So people are driving like far away. It's just tough. So we're trying to like be accommodating for the actors while also still getting the commercial. So I would have thought that the sidewalk scene that we shot would have worked better at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would have looked better. I hope you never post that one.
Why?
I hate it.
Everyone's really critical of themselves. I think you're being really critical of yourself.
No.
I did not like that dress, but I had to trust your vision.
No, you say you didn't like my hair.
I didn't like your hair either.
Or my dress, so you didn't like anything.
I mean, but I'm not the judge. I'm terrible with that stuff, so I had to defer to you. But I don't know. If you felt pretty, then I was going to support you.
No, I don't know why. I felt like good, but then after, like whenever I saw the video, I was like, nope, it's not it. But we just had to get it over with. Like I couldn't be like, oh, I'm going to go home and do my hair again, change. We just had to go with it.
Yeah. Well, I have a really strong preference for your hair down.
Yeah.
Or at least something like what you've got now. But I think when your hair's up, I just think it looks too mean.
Me?
Like stern, like you look like a teacher, like with like a ruler or something.
No way.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know. That's why I prefer your hair down. It looks,
Yeah.
more relaxed. And I think I don't know. We've done, and also in the past when you put your hair up, you've not liked it on other videos. Like we did that video where you went through like 3 minutes of our listings, in front of our white wall.
Oh yes. No, but my hair was down. It was just like
Oh,
whenever
yeah, it was weird. It was tight.
Yeah, it was tight. Yeah, I just sometimes I want to try like different things, but then I end up not liking them. Like that. Like yeah, those videos I just hated them.
How are you going to try something new before we jump on camera?
That's
I guess
true.
you don't know if it's
I
going to
don't
work
know.
until you try it.
And I like it whenever I see myself in the mirror. It's like I see myself some way, and then whenever I'm in front of the camera, I look different. And I'm like, no.
It's everyone, I think.
Yes.
You're just in camera more than most people. I guess when you're a little girl growing up, you didn't plan on being in all over social media. And I mean, with this podcast, the podcasts are doing really well. By really well, I mean, we've got 60, 70 viewers. I was worried I'd get 3. And then when I post them on Facebook, they're getting hundreds. So the last podcast I posted, we got 400, 500 views. So, I mean, it's better than I thought.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. At some point, you run out of things to talk about with real estate, and then what? Excuse me. And what people push play on is the people.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, we've kind of skipped a little bit, but why don't you talk about your life just a little bit? You know, you moved from Texas to Corbin, and you've been in Corbin schools, and you just graduated high school.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. Generally, you speak Spanish,
Yeah.
which is super fancy.
We only did one video in Spanish.
It did well too.
One video. It should be both.
Yeah.
A mixture.
Well, Spanish isn't as, you know, it's a lot more common, obviously, than some other languages, but we do have a Spanish-speaking population here.
Yeah.
You've had to answer calls and give instructions in Spanish
Yeah.
for like people's calling about renting or, you know, buying. So it is helpful that you do speak Spanish. And we ought to do another Spanish one. I just don't think about it much because my Spanish is terrible.
You don't know what I'm saying?
I get maybe 10% of it, but your mom doesn't speak much English at all.
Yeah.
And when I try to speak to her, you end up texting me like after and like making sure that I understood what she said.
Yeah.
Because she's clearly like, I'm sitting there, see, you know, but I might get maybe 10% of it. It's a shame because I went to school for a long time, I went to school. I had like 3 or 4 Spanish classes in high school, and then I had 3 or 4 Spanish classes in college. And the fact that my Spanish isn't better is a shame. So what are your fall plans? Have you figured that out yet?
Not yet.
By fall, I mean you just graduated high school.
Oh, I'm going to BCTC.
Yeah, Bluegrass Technical College.
Yeah.
And what kind of program are you going to do?
I think I'm going into business. I'm not sure yet, but I want to do 2 years there, and then after that, go 2 years somewhere else.
Maybe.
Just start there.
I like it. I've always encouraged you to do business because you can do anything with it. You can go to law school. You can go medical school. You can do literally anything. Medical school will be a little bit harder, but I mean you can still do it. In fact, I wish that people that went to medical school had to take a business class. But typically, they're doctors they're stereotyped as being bad with money.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden they're young kids, 26, 27, making huge money, and young kids with lots of money usually make bad decisions. So one interesting thing about all the social media stuff you've been doing that I've noticed is that other brokers in our region have started copying it. So they're doing like funny little videos, or they're doing. I'm not seeing walkthroughs because there's just not that many landlords in the area, but I am seeing people like really up in the real production and posts. Have you noticed anything like that? So it's just interesting. I mean, we're doing what everyone should be doing in sales, which is promoting. And I'm curious why other people don't do that. I always say that everything is sales, and no one's going to do business with you if they don't know you exist. And so the beautiful thing about the social media is we're getting in front of so many eyeballs because of you, because people are stopping and saying, "Oh, there's a girl doing something interesting," or
That's interesting.
that is interesting. Somebody's walking down the street in July in Mr. Incredible or in the Incredibles outfit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so they're stopping because there's a girl and you're doing something interesting, like walking through an apartment or in front of a house or doing something interesting. And if they happen to learn more about our company, then that's a benefit. So, what's been your most fun project we've done? Do you even have one?
The commercials.
Yes, it was just a huge production.
Yeah.
I'd love to do more in the future. Basically, about a month, or about 4 months ago, I called you in my office and I was like, I've got this idea. Let's do this big commercial. What were your initial thoughts?
I didn't think it was going to be like that big, honestly. I thought it was going to be something like of what we've been doing. But then I realized that it was actually like a big deal. Does that make sense?
When did you realize it was going to be bigger? Just the day of?
Whenever you started like out making like people audition and stuff, that's whenever I was like, oh, it's going to be bigger than I thought.
Was that the first time you auditioned for anything?
Yeah.
Have you like not school plays, not anything?
Mm-mm.
Have you even had a drama class?
No.
How about choir? Any performance?
Choir, yeah, whenever I was like in 4th grade.
So you're coming in just fresh. No bad habits. Any habits?
Have you had to
No,
audition?
definitely not. I was always sports, and even in college I was sports. I had one drama class in college, and it was in that studio that we did our auditions.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, because that's why I knew where it was and what it had. So I emailed the theater director. I was like, hey, can we use a space? Use that space. And like, yeah, sure. And when we showed up, she had like a little sign on the door saying four Freeman Brothers. And
I thought you guys put that up.
I put the one up on the outside of the building, but they put it on the classroom door,
Okay.
reserving it for us, which was great. I mean, it was over the top. I loved it.
Yeah.
But I sat you down in the office like 4 months before. I was like, we're going to spend a whole lot of money on some commercials, and you had asked me for a break from social media, filming for like a few weeks. And I was like, okay, how much time do you need? And then we'd agreed you were going to take like 8 weeks off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
3 months.
What was that? Why'd you need the break?
It was just a lot. I don't know.
Well, it got to the point where we were filming like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yes.
And like an hour minimum.
And then like editing the videos and yeah.
So I was like, fine, 8 weeks, very reasonable. But then we'd had that talk and then I said, okay, let's meet because I want to do these. I've got this idea for commercials, and I wanted you to be the star because everybody thinks of you. I don't know if they think of you when they think of Freeman Brothers Properties, but when they see you on social media, they know it's probably something to do with us.
Yeah.
And so at that meeting, you didn't realize that we were going big?
Yeah. I didn't think it was like that. I didn't think it was going to be like it was.
And you did a good job. I mean, you transformed yourself a lot in that, like, basically you had 10 weeks to work toward this commercial. I had the idea. I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but I wanted you to go blonde.
Yeah. I feel like I look older.
In a good way or a bad way?
Not in a bad way. I just feel like I look older. I think I look younger like this.
You think you look more mature?
Like with blonde?
Yeah.
Maybe. Kinda.
Did you like yourself blonde?
Yeah.
Man, it was hard to get you blonde. Your hair is thick.
Yes.
How many times did you have to go?
It was like twice, but my hair was not as dark as it is right now. It was twice, but they had to bleach it a lot.
Do you think you'll ever try to go blonde again?
Yeah, but not right now.
I have this theory that blonde stands out when you're scrolling. So
I don't think so.
Well, that's why I did it, and we still couldn't get you bleach blonde.
Oh no, there's no way.
It just wasn't going to happen. I thought that you got to a really. I thought you came ready for the commercials.
Yes.
Do you think you're at 90% there
Right now?
when you act the day of the commercial?
Oh, okay. Like, not 90%, less than that, but yeah,
What do you think you made it to?
like 70 or 80.
That's great. That's all you can hope for, because it's hard to diet. It's hard to stay consistent. About once a year, maybe every 6 months, we update our marketing, or I have something. So like in 2 weeks, we're updating our law firm commercials. So it's nice to have that, because then I'm really staying on my skin routine. I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight before, and I have that regularly. So it's nice to it's like accountability. Well, if you don't have any pressure right now because you're young. I just turned 37, which is crazy. I'm starting to feel like older for the first time ever.
37?
That
3
one-
more years and you're going to be 40.
The 37 is the first time I felt like kind of bad about like getting a year older. Well, because when you're your age, it's like you kind of wish you're older. So I got through that feeling like till I was 30, and then from there I started feeling like, okay, well now it kind of sucks getting a year older,
Yeah.
because especially as in business, you want people to take you serious, and when you're younger, you worry people aren't taking you serious because you're youth. So now I'm at the point where not only do people expect a lot from me because of my age, like I don't have the youth excuse anymore. So I'm just like, I'm 37. I better be acting 37.
Yeah.
Where when I was 30, I was like, I hope people are giving me the respect of like someone that's 37. So it's just this weird like push and pull between acting my age and also living up to like people's expectations at this age. Like you're 19, so people don't expect a whole lot from a 19-year-old. Basically, just do what you're supposed to do. Don't get in trouble, but you just don't have that many responsibilities.
Yeah.
Have you at least learned a lot while you've been working for us?
Yeah.
Mainly all the experiences you're getting
Yeah.
that is related to social media. Do you have one 60-second story about working for us? We've done so much.
I don't have anything.
What about the fire? Was that at least the most interesting one?
Oh yeah, that was very interesting.
You literally
But I felt like a news reporter.
you look like a news reporter.
I felt like a news reporter. It was freezing that day.
Yeah.
It was cold.
So tell that story. We had a fourplex burned down
Yeah.
that we were remodeling.
Yeah, and we went at night, right? And then we took the lights with us and the little mic I used to carry around. And then we took a video of how it looked. It was awful. Everything was destroyed and it was burned down.
I was just chasing around the rubble.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't fall.
We had you stupidly standing on like
What was it?
It was a brick
that I
wall.
was-
It was just the exterior wall. But the shot was cool, so I was like,
Yeah.
well, just be careful.
Yeah.
But it was sleeting that day too, so
Oh yeah.
you look like you were on the Weather Channel doing a report because you could see the sleet like going in front of the camera, and you were in your big like parka like
Oh, yeah.
jacket. So that was good.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you for doing this. Will you please do more with me?
Yeah.
We have a lot to talk about. We just kept it pretty surface today, just because you've not done a podcast before, and it's a skill you have to learn.
Yeah.
Having an interesting conversation. So, anyway, this has been Barrett Freeman with the PropertyTales podcast, and this has been Melissa Torres, and I appreciate you guys for watching.
Where do we go